Peace and elevation. This is Brother Mike X. Welcome to another episode from my YouTube channel, Brother Mike X Speaks. I'm in Harlem, New York on the historic 125th Street, right across the street from Adam Clayton Powell State Office Building. And I ran into my brother who I've been wanting to connect with for a long time now, man, so that we can build as black men, build as brothers, man, and provide a historic legacy that most of our people don't get through the mainstream media, so we don't know what's going on with our lives. So this is my brother
Peace,
Gibbs.
John. How you?
Peace.
Glad to be with you today. 7 is the number.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
So check
exactly.
this
So
out.
the energy is real.
How synchronicity happens, man. I got on my 7, the brother got on his 7, and we didn't even plan to bump into each other. You know what I mean? So, brother, I want to ask you a question so you could, provide some understanding, for the family. What has happened between black fathers, man, and the children that they have, man, that has driven such a wedge between a lot of our fathers and our sons? And what must we do, man, to try to heal, the relationships, man, if the relationships can be healed?
Right, because the fact is, I was telling Brother Mike X what happened in the early 80s, 82, 83, 84, when the drug epidemic came with the crack. They were always separating the family because the mother was addicted to a drug that they never treated the child for. So now we're here today, we have a kid who's in between the ages of 27, 30, who's addicted to something that they mentally don't know what it was as far as the family, who the mother was, because they separated the child from the mother. The father wasn't around because the fact is the father was never there in the home anyway. So now we have a child who's mentally not able to understand the background that they were taken from and put into an environment where they really don't even know spiritually that they can connect with. So this is one of the things that we're dealing with as far as like raising our black sons, because the system of racism is not about the mental thing, it's about the whole system set up to keep us separated. So this is where we at.
Yeah. And historically, man, like we've been dealing with for a long time, the first and most vital relationship, that the so-called slave master went after destroying, is the relationship between our black men and our black women.
Right.
They did everything that they could to destroy the power, the presence of the black man and his ability to be a husband, to be a father, and to have some legitimate say-so and ability to raise up his children. The black man was reduced to a status of just being a sexual stud.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And, even today, a lot of black men have come to believe that they have no real responsibility and as far as the children that they and the women that they procreate with, man. You know what I mean? Could you speak to that a little bit, brother? And and how what can we do about that division and that mindset in black men, to get them to return, to do justice by the children that they've had, and to also support the women, man, a lot of times who have to deal with the burden of raising these children by themselves.
Right, because one of the things that I said, brother, the other day when I put it on social media, one of the things that's actually out here today that's being a destruction too, that's helping, is this social media. It's separating family, friends, and loved ones from one another. So therefore, what we need to do, like you said, is reconnect as far as like being strong enough to be the men who's left in this particular paradigm where we are trying to hold on to what was given to us by our elders, and the other strong black men that we're trying to be, following, like we always follow Brother Malcolm X, Adam Clayton Powell, different brothers like that. So our young leaders are no longer able to relate because social media has them so caught up on what is going on as far as like the negativity, instead of giving them positive things to look for. No more leaders, no more positive images. The mothers are not being able to control the children because the fact is, the school system is not relating to them. And it's just a thing that we, as a group of people, and as black people, have to one time again come back and be strong and build the families. Sitting at the table, eating dinner together, staying out of the McDonald's, staying out of the Burger King, eating this food that's not even messing up our system, but messing up our mind. So this is a very powerful thing that we're dealing with, and it's not even so much the fact that it can't be controlled, it's the fact that we want to control it, but how do we start? Because mental illness is one thing, but it's something that's being taught to us, not something that we come from inherited.
No doubt. And I just, before we went on the air, I was telling brother, how I was on another panel discussion yesterday, and mental health has been, being discussed a lot in relation to black people, and why we are so damaged in many ways and not able to, be who we need to be as men, as husbands, as fathers, and a lot of times our women are in the same boat, and I was telling brother how I was on, I was asked a question yesterday talking about mental health. And I said to brother that I said on that panel discussion that we can't discuss mental health in the black community without discussing the system of racism, white supremacy, and white skin privilege that has produced in the black neighborhoods and in the black people a black dependency, a black inferiority. Where we don't know who we are. So if we don't know who we are, how could we know what we're supposed to be able to do? You know what I mean? And brother also mentioned the crack era. Brother, give me a recollection, of the community before crack, touched down in the black neighborhoods, like, around 1983, 84, 85, and how do you believe, what did crack and the crack era and everything that came with it, man? What did it do to us? What did it take away from us, man? And, are we still suffering from what was taken away from us?
Well, we're definitely suffering from it, because what happened, it was a thing where I believe I worked for the child welfare system in the early 80s. And when the crack epidemic came along, the positive tox children were never really treated, because they only treated the mother just to keep her from going back out into the street and becoming addicted to the drug, but never taking the child's consideration on whether they should be treated for the drug, if they are going to be put in a home where there's a kinship or a family member that's going to taking them from the home, taking them from the mother, with a system where it's already messed up and is beginning to take over the black family. It's got worse. So therefore, today we have children who are definitely addicted to a chemical they were never treated for, and also a mother who was never able to sit down and explain to the child the separation between her and the child. So now, there was times when crack first started that the mothers were really concerned and they were selling their children. But the heroin era, you always seen the mother with the children were clean and stuff like that. So a different drug and a different time took place. And once it separated the mother from the child, the father not being in the home, the uncles not being able to be that man to stand there strong for the child, with the uncles, the cousins, and the grandfathers, we just lost a whole lot. So there's a lot of turmoil going on that we really need to grasp and get back to. But can we do that? Yes, we can do that. Do we want to do that? We have to. So, this is where we at.
Yeah, man.
It's not a thing that we cannot recover. It's the thing about when are we going to sit down and say it's time that we've had enough, we're sick and tired of being under this so-called umbrella of racism.
That's right. That's right. Brother, I'm gonna cut it short in a couple of minutes. I just wanted to tell the family it's very important that we do the knowledge ourselves so that we can, like the brother Dr. Naeem Akbar in his book, Know Thyself, he talks about the process that we got to be able to take ourselves through, where we deconstruct the narrative of black people being nothing but slaves, nothing but niggas and bitches, nothing but thugs and criminals, and we begin to tell the real story. We reconstruct what the real story is, that there has been a system of racism, white supremacy, and white skin privilege that is designed to separate the black man from the family structure, from the neighborhood at large, that is designed to keep us from knowing who we are, so that we can have the same type of pride and discipline that we see in other races and cultures and ethnicities. We need to be able to have the same thing, so we need to be able to deconstruct what was done, reconstruct the truth, the real narrative of what was done, so that we can begin to love ourselves again and separate blame from responsibility. The blame is on the system and those who created that type of system. The responsibility is on us as black men and black women so that we can be who we need to be in the family and in the neighborhoods. Brother, is there anything that you want to say before we close this out?
Well, like you said, we got to relearn some of the things that we've been taught, some of the little white lies that we were taught as children, as far as the education system, the society system, all of these things that have drawn us away from what was real, and the illusion that they put in front of us daily is not even real. We got to go back to what we know: family, love, peace, and harmony with each other.
That's peace, brother. So this is Brother Mike X signing off. What do you want them to know you by, brother?
Brother Tim Roth,
Okay.
man of soul.
So family, I'm gonna commit myself in the next weeks, the next months, man, as long as I got energy in my body. A lot of y'all might have known me for the monologues that I do. You'll hear Brother Mike X talking about this or talking about that. But I feel like this dialogue and conversation is what we need to be moving towards. Men need to be able to build with men. Man sharpens man, that steel sharpens steel, as they say. You know, and I'm going to be inviting more people to participate in these dialogues in the upcoming weeks and months. So you're going to see our brother Tim Raw, you know, more often.
It, brother.
You know what I mean? Peace.
Peace.
Uh.
For sure.